Coming up on Hoosier Sports Night, football just keeps on winning. We'll give you the latest on their win at Michigan State.
And men's basketball kicks off their regular season against SIUE. We have more from Assembly Hall. This is Hoosier Sports Night.
Hello and welcome to Hoosier Sports Night. I'm Darion Watson.
And I'm Genevieve Malone. We have a primetime game this weekend. Are you going, Darion?
I'm not going, but I will be watching. Speaking of Indiana football, Kirk Cinetti and his Indiana football team took a trip to East Lansing on Saturday for their first true road test against Michigan State. Our Luke Brennerman has the recap.
For the first time in program history, the Indiana Hoosiers are 9-0. That's right. Kirk Cinetti and company were tested early on in East Lansing, but boy, did they respond.
Okay, I knew at some point we'd be behind. And I knew it'd be fine. We'd be fine. Okay, but so now we've been behind and we responded.
After falling behind 10-0 in the opening frame, Indiana was forced to regroup at the break. It was the Hoosier defense that tightened up, forcing 2 second-quarter interceptions before the offense took over the game.
Nothing at all, honestly. It was 10-0. Let's go play. 10-0 away in the Big Ten. Let's go play. And that's all it was.
Curtis Rourke made his return after missing last week's contest against Washington and carved up the Michigan State defense.
It was definitely a little bit sore with every throw, but something that I knew I was going to come and I wanted to play through because you don't get a chance to play football a lot. So.
The Hoosiers scored 47 unanswered points in the final 3 quarters of play. Indiana continues to dominate another Big Ten opponent and has an opportunity to improve to 10-0 against the defending national champions next week.
That's something Coach Sig talked about, and that he knows what he's doing. He has a process, and it's just as long as you follow that process, we knew we were going to get to this point. We're excited for the next opportunity to go 1-0.
It's hard to not be optimistic about the future of this ball club. What some called radical is proving to be reality for Kirk Cinetti. Indiana will host Michigan at noon next Saturday. Until then, for IUSTV Sports, I'm Luke Brenneman.
The first college football playoff rankings were dropped on Tuesday night, and the committee has the Hoosiers at number 8. Indiana hosts Michigan at 3:30 on CBS for a chance to knock off the defending national champions and improve to a perfect 10-0.
The Indiana volleyball team finished up a successful weekend as they nabbed road wins over Rutgers and Maryland in back-to-back days. Indiana took on Rutgers in Piscataway this past Friday, where they were able to dispatch the Scarlet Knights 3-1. Cameron Hayworth secured the title of best server in Indiana volleyball history, beating Jen Magelson's 197. And even though their next game was the very next day, the Hoosiers didn't skip a beat as they went over to College Park, where they beat the Maryland Terrapins in straight sets. Indiana looks to keep up their recent momentum when they head back home to Wilkinson Hall for a highly anticipated clash with in-state rival and top 10 foe Purdue.
Indiana men's basketball kicked off regular season in Assembly Hall. Our Kara Adams has the recap.
Indiana opened up regular season play at home with an 80-61 victory over the SIUE Cougars, and it was Mackenzie McBacco who led the way with 31 points and went 4 from 5 from behind the three-point line.
People don't see it, but we all see it. He puts in the work, and he's very efficient in his work, and so he's a guy that can score for us, and we know that, and so he did that tonight, and we're going to need him to do it a lot of times. So I think just whenever it's anybody's night, just making sure we keep finding that person, because it's going to be a lot of guys' nights throughout the season who can get off and score. So and tonight was Mackenzie's night, and he played really well for us.
But 16 turnovers and SIUE's 16 offensive rebounds means there's still work to be done defensively.
Again, defensively, we were pretty solid. You take away their offensive rebound, and then we really were pretty good defensively, but we just couldn't keep them off the glass, and that's not a big team. So, I got to get us blocking out and getting better in that area.
While this new Indiana team has a lot of depth to it, they're still searching for their offensive identity.
Still searching. I do know we can score the basketball, and certain guys haven't really made shots like I thought they would, but they'll start falling eventually.
Hoosiers have a couple days to tweak a few things before they host Eastern Illinois on Sunday at noon in Assembly Hall. For IUSTV Sports, I'm Kara Adams.
The Hoosiers will host Eastern Illinois on Sunday to continue their non-conference play.
Coming up after the break, we crown this week's Hoosier Highlight Athlete of the Week.
And men's soccer begins postseason play. We'll give you the latest on their path to the Big Ten tournament. Welcome back to Hoosier Sports Night.
Joining us in studio for this week's Hoosier Highlight is IUSTV sports reporter Preston Andrews. Preston?
Thanks, guys. Fast, physical, relentless. The three characteristics that Indiana coach Curt Cignetti has preached to his team since his arrival in Bloomington. Arguably no player took Cignetti's words to heart more than this week's Hoosier Highlight Athlete of the Week, Mikael Kamara. Kamara joined the Hoosiers with Coach Cignetti from James Madison and was a zero-star, non-ranked recruit coming out of high school. Kamara etched his name in the Hoosier history books on Saturday. His 4.5 tackles for a loss are tied for the third most in a game in program history and are the most in a game since 1997. Kamara's 2.5 sacks are the most for a Hoosier in a single game since 2017. Saturday afternoon was no fluke for the Hoosier defensive lineman, as Kamara now leads the Big Ten Conference in tackles for loss and sacks with 14.5 and 9.5 respectively. Kamara's big day resulted in him earning the Walter Camp National Player of the Week award on the defensive side of the ball. Kamara and the Hoosiers take on Michigan on Saturday as they look to go 10-0 for the first time ever. That's all for this week's Hoosier Highlight. Back to you all at the desk.
After an undefeated October, postseason is officially here for the Indiana men's soccer team. Our Kara Adams previews the Big Ten tournament.
It's all a new season. Everyone's clean slate. This isn't coach speak. This is reality. It does not matter what you've done. It's a new trophy. Everyone's got equal opportunity if you've earned to get into it.
And that new season begins today when Indiana takes on Michigan in the quarterfinal round of the Big Ten tournament as the 2 seed, a team that they previously beat 5-0 on October 15th.
It's really just focusing on where we think we can, have advantages against Michigan, being aware of their strengths. And we won't talk much about last game, except looking at some clips that we thought we did well. They've changed a little bit since then. Positionally, they've changed some guys' position roles.
And after an undefeated October, the Hoosiers have been led by senior forward Tommy Mahalik, who's tied for the most goals in the Big Ten.
He's playing relaxed but very confident. He's got a great edge to him. I really like the way Tommy's defending. He's, you have the difference of getting, a 10-goal scorer with some big assists is different. You have a different level of confidence.
And that confidence?
I think the confidence is obviously what propels. So the young guys see the confidence of the older players like, hey, we go out and we perform, we do these small details well, things tend to take care of themselves. Don't get caught up in, man, are we hosted final, or who's it going to be, or what RPI are we going to be? Don't worry about it. Just lock in. Lock in today, lock in tomorrow, and we'll get after it.
The Hoosiers will look to win their 17th Big Ten tournament finals starting today. For IUSTV Sports, I'm Kara Adams.
The Hoosiers will look to have another big run in the postseason. Stay tuned with Kara Adams, Josh Post, Sam Heiser, and Josie Broyles for all the postseason updates. In the season opener for the 2024-25 season, the Indiana women's basketball team defeated the Brown Bears 82-60. Our Charlie Huras has the recap.
In the season opener for the 2024-25 season, the Indiana Hoosiers are 1-0. Defeating the Brown Bears 82-60.
A lot about sharing the wealth and team basketball, and I feel like everybody on the team embodies that. And then stepping out in front of 10,050 fans, I think that's incredible. And even just doing the alma mater at the end, it really means a lot. And yeah, I felt at home.
Despite the 22-point victory and a 1-0 record, Indiana allowed 11 threes tonight and turned the ball over 18 times, a stat that will not compute to winning basketball down the road.
I thought we were lackluster getting out to, and again, I know they shot a lot of threes, but to give up, 11 of those that we gave up? 11 of those? Unacceptable. And disappointed in our turnovers, careless turnovers. Whether that was just not focused, I don't know, but definitely not the way I wanted to open our season.
In the season opener, Indiana's three-point shot was off to a rocky start as they went just 5 of 20 behind the arc. What won them the game tonight, though, was points in the paint, scoring 46 down low, led by forwards Caroline Striplin and Lily Meister. Striplin had 17, Meister 14, both of whom combined for an efficient 10 of 15 from the field.
When our clear advantage was on the inside, that's disappointing because I think we're a smart team. And our advantage was clearly in the low post tonight.
From Assembly Hall, I'm Charlie Harris, IUSTV Sports.
The Hoosiers will host Harvard this Thursday at Assembly Hall at 7 p.m.
The Indiana field hockey team faced Big Ten rival Michigan State in the final game of the regular season. Our Ryan Crace has the recap.
The Indiana Hoosier field hockey team hosts the Michigan State Spartans this Friday at Deborah Tobias Field to get their final win of the season 1-0 and enter postseason play in the Big Ten tournament. The first quarter was a display of classic Hoosier hockey, not letting up a single shot or corner for MSU, although the Spartans displayed similar defense, only allowing a single corner for Indiana.
You know, I thought that we played a really disciplined game, and that's something that we've been harping on the team about. They want for themselves just to have that disciplined defense, and, you know, it just starts there. That's what really sets the tone for the game.
The defense continued for the Hoosiers to the second quarter, keeping the Spartans at 0 shots and corners, although the Cream and Crimson were allowed to take their first shot and goal of their own, although it was not able to find the net. The third quarter was a change of pace for the Hoosiers as they took 10 corners and got 5 shots on goal, although none of them were able to secure a point for the Hoosiers.
I think they just did a really good job in reading our play and know what to do. And I think, we have to work on that. We had that before, that we had a lot of corners.
In the fourth quarter, IU senior Yip Van Wonderen was able to score the lone goal of the game, bringing the lead of 1-0. The Hoosiers were able to close out the game with some stellar defense, winning 1-0. This brings their record to 9-8 on the season as they look forward to the Big Ten tournament. For IUSTV Sports, I'm Ryan Craigs.
Joining us in studio for this week's Candy Stripe calendar is IUSTV sports reporter John Burton. John?
Thanks, guys. It certainly has been a busy weekend in IU athletics. To start off Friday, women's volleyball will host 9th-ranked Purdue in Wilkinson Hall. On Saturday, all eyes will be on Kurt Signetti's 9-0 football team, who will host Michigan at 3:30 in Memorial Stadium. Then the wrestling team will travel to East Lansing to face the Michigan State Spartans. Wrapping things up on Sunday, the men's basketball team will take on Eastern Illinois in Assembly Hall at noon, and the women's volleyball team will also play USC at home. That's all for this weekend's Candy Stripe calendar. Back to you at the desk.
And that's our show for the week. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Be sure to follow us on Instagram and Twitter at IUSTV Sports to keep up with all our latest in IU athletics. For our production crew behind us, I'm Genevieve Malone.
And I'm Darion Watson. We'll see you next week.